We're not just music, we are variety. And back with us on the Nation Station, Oman FM. So right now, joining us this afternoon is our guest. She's the Chief of People, Technology and Culture at OQ. We have Miss Ibtisam Al-Riyami. Hello, Miss Ibtisam. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us, and sorry for that interruption. How are you doing, Miss Ibtisam?
I'm doing just fine, alhamdulillah. Happy Omani Women's Day.
Right, I want to greet you that happy Omani Women's Day, and thank you so much for taking time to be with us.
Sure, it's a pleasure, and thank you for having me.
Wonderful, thank you. So before we talk about, your career and, of course, empowering women, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Right, so I am a mother of four, foremost.
Mm-hmm.
I also have had a long career in the energy sector, oil and gas, and then more recently in the energy sector. I have spent over 30 years inside Oman. Also, a part of that was outside of Oman. Previously in Petroleum Development Oman, and almost a year in OQ.
Right. So thank you for sharing
that. I'm currently the Chief People, Technology and Culture. So quite a large and broad domain.
Right, wonderful. Well, we are excited to know more about your journey. And, we just want to ask as well, who has been your inspiration and how did they impact your career?
Well, I have to say, anytime I get a question like this, I feel quite blessed. I have worked with some of the very best in our industry.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had professionally many people who've inspired me, who've coached me, who've mentored me,
mm-hmm.
who've pointed what I am doing wrong and how I should correct it. But the people who remain an inspiration to me, whether it's actually how I conduct my life on a personal basis,
mm-hmm.
or in my career, are my parents.
Right.
My late father has always been and will always remain my role model and my the highest inspiration.
Right.
It's not necessarily by what they taught me and they told me
mm-hmm.
and directed me to do. It's just by how they lived their lives.
Right.
Very high work ethics, ensuring that no job is a small job. That when you take responsibility, take it and execute it. And when you look back, you need to be proud of what you've done. Learn from your mistakes, and just give it your all. So he will always remain my inspiration.
Right, and that's a really powerful message as well. What are the developments that you have witnessed in the country, especially to women's society, since you are also in that career? So if you can, share with us the developments you have witnessed.
Well, countless. Indeed,
right.
having been schooled in this country from very early stages, mm-hmm. been afforded the opportunity to complete my secondary education here, get a scholarship similar to the boys, I guess, the male counterpart,
right.
to go and study in the U.S., coming back,
mm-hmm.
being offered a job and opportunities for development and growth, very similar to my colleagues,
right.
is really first-hand experience and a testament to the greatness of this country. Our beloved, the late His Majesty Sultan Qaboos bin Saeed, may Allah have mercy on him and his soul rest in peace, was always at the forefront of women empowerment
mm-hmm.
and equality through various initiatives and programs dedicated to women. This is so evident in the fact that he devoted a special day for Omani women,
right.
The 17th of October.
Mm-hmm.
This vision was also reflected in the prominence of Omani women in several senior positions in Oman before, and now that vision is being taken forth and continued by our Sultan, our new Sultan. So we see women in all walks of life,
right.
Including at the very highest positions in the government.
Mm-hmm.
We saw over the weekend 50 of our sisters and daughters being honored for their achievements, for their sacrifices, for just being, good for their families, for themselves, and for the, bigger society. it would also be good to remind ourselves that we in Oman, by royal decree in 2008,
Right.
Where we were given equal rights. His late Majesty signed the Decent Work Country Program, where it's a service dedicated to increase job opportunities for women, as well as to stand for justice, equality, and freedom.
Right.
So we have a lot to be thankful for, and we should feel very grateful. Have we conquered all the battles? No. There's still a lot more work to be done, but we have to count our blessings.
Wonderful. So, from that question, I think if we conquer the battles, what is your advice? What do you think makes a successful leader, and in particular, women leaders?
I think many qualities, as you already know, have to fall in place to become a successful leader. But foremost quality, I think, worth sharing is to be able to craft a vision, build a shared vision for a small team, a big team, a large corporation,
right.
And the ability to narrate and storytell and do whatever is needed to ensure that vision is understood to start with, but also is actually internalized by your employees or your team, etc. And the ability to turn that vision into actual deliverables and execution, right. Making sure that you're not leaving anyone behind. So it's all about building a shared vision, the ability to communicate, the ability to mobilize, the ability to sense when you've left someone behind, and the perseverance to go back and pick that person up. Because of course, a general without their troops don't go very far, and so I think that's probably the most important leadership quality I would actually say. Needless to say, one has to maintain very highest standards of value, integrity, honesty, all those good things.
Sure.
I think you highlighted very specifically
for women.
The women leaders.
Yes.
What I found useful over the years, and I've made these, the same mistake as you see many young ladies make. Okay. But then over the years, you become more experienced. You fall and you dust yourself and you pick up and you learn from your mistakes. And this notion that I have to be just as good as a man, I'm not sure about that. I think we each bring in different skill sets. And I think part of being a strong and effective woman leader is to understand the innate characters and abilities that the female has. We're far more nurturing by nature. That's how God created us.
Right.
We can pick up signals that the men can't pick up. So while our male counterparts can bring in different, those aspects or different aspects of strength, we are in a position to complement that, and it's about understanding those strengths and bringing them along as part of your leadership toolkit.
Right. And it's like, building each other. I think it's about using that ability, from what I heard from you. It's about your uniqueness, using that to become an effective, especially as a woman leader. Hope so.
Yes, so indeed, as my unique qualities as Ibtisam, but also my unique qualities as a female, and then my unique qualities as an executive or a team member or whatever.
Right.
Foremost is about understanding it first and then applying it. Indeed.
Wonderful. Well, that's really moving. So let's talk about your field, the field of work. Oil and gas is really a demanding sector in terms of long hours and the working conditions. So what is OQ doing to make it easier for women in the company?
Well, I know that our industry seems to attract that reputation, and I think it is partly earned. That it's possibly a harsher environment for females to work. And I think some parts of our industry that is actually true. However, I don't think it's across the board. But I think what you get in companies like ours, and certainly at OQ, we are a global company. And so we are firm believers in diversity and the power of inclusiveness. We go out of our way to ensure that policies and procedures do not discriminate and give equal rights to our employees. So as a result, men and women at OQ have equal hiring, mobility, and career advancement opportunities. We also pay close attention to the overall well-being and special needs of females. Many projects have been implemented specifically to create the appropriate environment suitable for working women and in keeping with the local cultures in which we operate.
Right.
As an example, in Oman, we have ensured that everything from uniforms, living quarters, entertainment, and health facilities are all in keeping with the Omani culture. I think we ought to note that a specific challenge cited by females is the ability or inability to balance the dual roles of being nurturing mothers with being responsible professionals. So to alleviate some of this burden, we support them by providing secure and hygienic mothers' rooms, for instance, where we are able to get into partnership with local SMEs and have nursery facilities close to the working environment. We will take that opportunity and do that. We will also, and what we also do is to create the infrastructure and the policies that allow us and the female to work more flexibly. This is, of course, what can be enjoyed by the females, of course, is also enjoyed by our staff in general. And I think if we've learned anything from our not so pleasant recent experience with COVID and working from home, is it can actually be done, So that definitely is something that we want to not only capitalize, but also make sure that even post-COVID, that's part of the culture.
Right.
So I think we've done very well so far, but we need to do much more. We keep on evolving.
Right, that's wonderful. So it's like it's continuing and it's not really stopping, not just because there's pandemic globally, but you keep on discovering something new and adjusting to the new normal.
Correct.
Yes. So I think just in closing, Ms. Ibtisam, we don't want really to take much of your time. What will be your advice for women who are, building careers?
Yeah. We could actually spend hours talking about this, the do's and don'ts. And however, I think if I have a minute, I'd actually say first piece of advice I would give is to take strong ownership of your professional career path. So what this means is that you're clear in your own mind on the experiences that would excite and fulfill you. And following your passion, it's not just a cliche. It's actually quite important. What I also found from my own experiences, I didn't quite know what I wanted to do, but I was very clear on what I did not want to do. And that allowed me to leave doors open. And when I spotted an opportunity, I didn't have the shackles that stopped me from following that. So once you're clear in your own mind, you need to make choices. And in making these choices, a good idea is to seek advice and to include your family in the decision making. No matter what career path you end up following, to succeed, you will need their support.
Right.
Once you've made these choices, commit to them. And as I said, please keep an open mind and a watchful eye for opportunities as they may come your way.
Right.
We as women universally tend to take less career risks compared to men. But as someone very wise said, growth and comfort never coexist.
Wow.
Go against, what your gut feel, maybe not totally against it, but certainly when something starts to make you uncomfortable, maybe that's the job that you actually need, because I have never done a job that I was uncomfortable going in, that I haven't learned, and it, I witnessed tremendous growth. You will make mistakes, but dust yourself off and figure out how to do it differently. And I think lastly and most importantly, take care of yourself. We are mothers, we are executives, we are team members, we are sisters, we are daughters. We've got so many different roles that we play. It can actually be exhausting. And in the process, you find a lot of females forget to take care of, number one. Ask for help when you need it, and never lose sight of who you are and what makes you happy and content.
Wow. Thank you so much for that, beautiful advice. and words coming from you, well, it's really, really, you're truly an inspiration, and thank you for that. We learned a lot from you today. Thank you so much, Ms. Ibtisam, for this beautiful conversation.
And thank you for having me, and wishing all the women all over to have a fantastic and phenomenal day.
Wonderful. Such a pleasure to have you with us this afternoon. All the very best.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
So we just had a beautiful and wonderful conversation with our guest this afternoon, Miss Ibtisam Al-Riyami, Chief of People, Technology and Culture at OQ. And she just, shared with us the advice on how to become a successful woman leader.